Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, and His Excellency President Fidel Valdez Ramos, and First Lady Amelita Ramos.
Your Royal Highness, Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales, the Senate President, Senator Maceda, the Speaker of the House, Speaker de Venecia, Madam First Lady, Your Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps, ladies and gentlemen, our people and the Philippine government, and myself personally, are honored and delighted to welcome Your Royal Highness to Manila and to reciprocate the warm hospitality accorded me, Mrs. Ramos, and the Philippine delegates during our 2 visits to the United Kingdom in March 1995 and last month. Both occasions were most fruitful, and equally fulfilling was our visit with Your Royal Highness, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II and the Queen Mother at Ascot just 16 days ago. On this occasion, I must state once again that the Philippines especially enjoys robust ties with the United Kingdom, basically because of the common values and hopes that we share. We are both island nations, a fact that gives us a maritime outlook and that special world view peculiar to seafarers. And this could explain why the handover of 3 of your favorite naval vessels to the Philippine Navy at friendship prices was naturally agreed to. Second, we share a common tongue, in that English is the second language of Filipinos, and this enables us to communicate easily with the world. And we vigorously advocate free trade and open markets. Lastly, and perhaps the most important, we both are strongly committed to democracy, the fundamental character of our systems of governance and of our people's aspirations. I also note, Your Royal Highness, with gratification, the dynamic and growing partnership between the Philippines and the United Kingdom, manifested by an active exchange of visits, increased economic interaction, greater development, cooperation, and intensified political dialogue. Since 1994, the Philippines has been host to an unprecedented number of high-level British trade missions, a total of 25, quite a few of which went on outside Metro Manila to explore the potentials of our different regions. Such fresh and sustained efforts have borne results. The United Kingdom became, in 1995, the 3rd largest foreign investor here, and improved further to become the 2nd largest in 1996. So why shouldn't you be number 1? The United Kingdom was also the Philippines' biggest export market in Europe, both in 1995 and 1996. I am heartened that our renewed partnership focuses on the top priorities of our government and our people. A laudable example is our so-called Instant Bridge Program, a bilateral project with the United Kingdom covering 70 out of 78 provinces in 15 out of 16 administrative regions of the Philippines. Our people-to-people affinity is reflected in the hospitable treatment of Filipino workers in the United Kingdom and in Hong Kong, about which the Philippines has been assured by all concerned, and that this will continue into the future. I am pleased to note that during my last visit to the United Kingdom, several new private sector agreements were made that promise sizable investments, especially in natural gas and tollway construction. All these recent developments augur well for a more vibrant and mutually beneficial partnership between us. And so, in this spirit, Your Royal Highness, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite you to join me in a toast to the continued good health of Her Majesty the Queen, to the enduring prosperity of the British people, and to the everlasting friendship of the United Kingdom and the Philippines. Thank you. Mabuhay. Long life. Mabuhay. Long life. Thank you.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, I would like first of all to thank you, Mr. President, most warmly for your extremely kind words and your most friendly welcome. In fact, one of the marvelous things about coming to the Philippines is to be met with such warmth and friendliness. It has quite overwhelmed me ever since the moment at which the Royal Yacht Britannia tied up alongside the jetty this afternoon, and I was forced to watch all the welcoming party on the jetty getting very, very wet. And I have nothing but the greatest sympathy for those who were waiting for me. Mr. President, you mentioned your visit to the United Kingdom 2 weeks ago, and indeed it was an enormous pleasure to see you there, and both the Queen and my grandmother, the Queen Mother, and my father and myself were thrilled to have a chance of seeing you there, although we much regretted the fact that there was no time for Your Excellency to win some money on 1 or 2 horses at Ascot. But we knew that you had more pressing business at Oxford, where I know you had to make a speech to the Oxford Union. I am delighted to be able to have this opportunity of visiting the Philippines, albeit very briefly, but for the first time, and to have seen for myself something of Manila and its very long history. As far as I'm concerned, it's a particular pleasure to have visited the San Agustin Church in the historic center of your city. And I've been so impressed by the way in which you've restored the historic center to much of its former glory. I'm particularly sad that I did not have time on this occasion to visit the museum to José Rizal, but the short time that he lived in London in 1888 is, I believe, a symbol of the lasting links of sympathy and understanding between both our countries. I was particularly interested to learn before I came here how far back those links between Britain and the Philippines have existed, and how slowly the wheels of history sometimes turn. A naval force from Britain came to Manila in 1762 during the 7 Years' War and occupied the city for 2 years. I understand that the Spanish government of the day agreed to pay Britain a ransom of $4 million in return for our agreement not to sack the city. You may like to know, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, that this bill is still held in the Bank of England and has still not been paid. But I'm delighted that this tradition of the Royal Navy's contacts with the Philippines continues. It was a particular pleasure to arrive here this afternoon accompanied by the 3 fast patrol boats, Peacock, Plover and Starling, which are joining the Philippine Navy. The Royal Navy captains of these 3 vessels are with us at tonight's banquet, I'm delighted to say. And I'm also delighted that ships of our Far Eastern Task Force, led by the aircraft carrier HMS Illustrious, spent a week in Manila last month, something I'm sure that none of them will ever forget. These contacts all testify to the fact that notwithstanding our departure from Hong Kong, Britain's interest in the Far East remains strong and firm. As you yourself said, Mr. President, economic links between our 2 countries are far-reaching. From those days in the last century when the then British consul, Nicholas Loney, helped to set up the sugar industry here, Britain is now one of your major trading partners and one of the leading investors in the Philippines. I have not, unfortunately, had the opportunity to see for myself examples of our present-day involvement in the Philippine economy, but I was delighted to meet members of the British business community at a reception earlier this evening and was much impressed by their obvious enthusiasm and commitment, and I hope very much that these links will continue to grow in the future. So, Mr. President, I hope very much that one day I shall be able to return to see much more of your remarkable country. I can only, on this occasion, reciprocate your good wishes, and I would like very much to ask all of you to raise your glasses in a toast to the lasting friendship between Britain and the Philippines.
Friendship.
Thank you very much.